also. I say okay. And for early version compatibility, if you are using earlier versions than ngx, checkpoint ngx, then you need to have which server you should mention here. It is always better to give that server there as part of the configuration. Here you have to go and query this particular database. I go to objects management, and I fetch. When I click fetch branches, the firewall has to go to fetch the branches here. Firewall has to go check give the username password, go into the ADS and get the users. I should get a successful fetch. I say fetch branches. You should get like this, all the details you should get. If you don't get the details, that means there will be some problem in querying the database. You must not have given the password, or the users are not configured. I mean, the DN credentials must not have been given properly, or the LDAP account unit must not have been created properly. So many issues will be there if you don't get this successfully. Now I go to authentication tab. See, so many authentication schemes are there from so many databases, and the most important part in this particular screen is the user template. Once you put a tick mark there, user template, you should select the default template. This is what is this default template. I say okay, I say close. The default template is that what the users, once you create in the ADS, checkpoint firewall say manage users and computers, new user by template. When you create, checkpoint firewall has a default template. Once you create a user, automatically the details you can map to this. Like that, when you integrate the users from the ADS to the firewall, the properties of the users, the other details of the user should be mapped to this particular default template. That is what we mean by the default. But here what you should do is, immediately after that, you should say manage users and administrators. There is something default, this is what you mentioned. You edit that default template. You should say that you should see the details from the checkpoint password, because you cannot give a password, but once you integrate this, all the password and all the details will be copied, or it is downloaded into the kernel of the firewall. And by configuring the default, we say that the details of the users can be found in the kernel. You go check up, that is what it is. Now another thing is, we need to create an LDAP user group. Say for here, for the user authentication, in the authentication videos, we have seen that the users should be put in a group. Here also I say manage users and administrators, new LDAP group. I should create not a user group, I should create an LDAP group. Once you create an LDAP group, you can give a name here, say LDAP group, any name, and where is the account unit? The account unit we just created, LDAP server. Once you create this and say OK, and say OK, and the source will be right click, you cannot add, you should select this add user access. Once you select add user access, the LDAP group is there.